Hi everyone, it's Friday the 20th of April. I've come down plot, try and get as much planted out as I can between today and Sunday. It was supposed to be sunny today. It's not rained for a few days. Ground's still a bit wet, but it's a bit cold actually today. But mind you, it is first thing in the morning, so I've loads to do, so I'll get as much as I can on camera. But first I'll have a quick look round to see how things are before I actually get started. Okay, that's all the garlic. Nothing's died. There's a few weeds starting to sprout, so I have to keep on top of them. A mole digging around in here like I usually do each year, so I need to sort that bed out. I came and took some cabbages and actually had a collie as well in here, so I might clear this bed today because I could do with it out of the way. And I've got little, you can't really make it out, but there's actually some really tiny collies on these. Some tiny. I mean, they'll grow over the next few days. I'll see what happens. So all beds are empty. There's a bit of a green look to them because it's obviously been out damp. So need to give these a bit of a quick skim across the top, take any weeds off. I'm going to trim the grass, even though it's a bit wet, but it's a job that needs doing because I don't want to be trampling about everywhere. No signs of asparagus at all yet. Oh, hang on. Got some here, just starting. That's it's not a bad sign, at least one of them's surviving. So, next couple of weeks I'll start chucking them out probably. Strawberries are perking up. I need to get rid of all these that are starting to grow in the path, but they're not major jobs at the minute. This bed you saw me do in a previous video, the strawberries are growing, and you can see the peas are starting to sprout now. So where it's been wet and everything, it's all cracking this top, but I mean, get a bit of a rain and it'll soon be okay. I'm not really worried about that. I can look after myself for now. Raspberries, there is some greenery on all of them, which is a sign that they've got through. Whether they stay that way, I don't know. So I need to, a job I've been needing to do is put some sulphur down on my blueberries. I've done it in a video before. It's basically put a thin dust of sulphur sort of around the drip line. Well, I can't obviously go out there, but in there I've got a bit of mulch. I'll mulch them up and leave them to it then and let them do the thing. So there's plenty to get on with. Like I say, it's I really would like to get my spuds. They're going to have to go in really, but I know that's going to be wet and solid, really compacted. There's not a lot I can do really, because there's been a lot of sitting water. I mean, you can see in the field there, there's still a lot of water sat. We've had like 5-6 days without any rain. We've had a lot of sunshine as well, apart from today when I come down to do a bit. But nevertheless, got to crack on. So I'll just do some strimming and clearing up I think first. Right, we'll put some sulphur on these now. It's just sulphur dust. You can use sulphur chips. Don't go mad with it. It's just to help acidify the ground a bit. It's just a case of give it a bit of a dusting. I mean, if you've got like an actual big bed with them in, it's a good idea to try and dust it as far as you can really. I'd probably say about 10-15 grams max. Do that, and I'm just going to use my gloves. I'm just going to scuff that into the top. There's blueberry roots are very shallow. You know, they're pretty shallow roots in the bush. They don't really like soils that are a bit alkali. I tend to do this once, twice a year, and occasionally water them with a bit of highly diluted vinegar. So that's putting the sulphur on. I've just got some mulch here. You can use manure if you want. I've just bought some proper mulch. It's just to help stop them drying out a bit. You know, wood chippings would be fine. Pine needles, all that sort of stuff. Don't mind grass clippings really. I'll give it a good. By the time this is all settled down, it'll have a good inch on it. Doesn't need much. I'm not going to do too much around the middle here because I'm trying to encourage more shoots to come out. So I'd usually do this a bit earlier on in the year before it's starting to come into bud really, because I'm knocking them off everywhere. And that's pretty much it really. Do that start of each year and it should be okay. Right, I've been over to the van, brought all this lot over. I've still got some seed potatoes in the van, but like I say, that's probably Sunday rather than today. So I've got my lettuce. Whether any of that goes in here today, I'm not sure, because one of my beds where I've cleared the brassicas out, that's full of leather jackets. The other ones seem to be okay. So it seems to be, if I'm overwintering anything, that's where I seem to get them. So I'll have to bear that one in mind, I think. So I've got my brassicas, which is some here and some here, spring onions, onion sets, beetroot, shallots, more shallots, and my Santero F1s, which I'm still using now, so they do store well. I haven't got many left. They're just starting to go a bit soft, some of them now. But yeah, I've still got about 10 or 15 left, I think. So I hope they do all right this year. Just hoping the rust eases off. I know they're resistant to mildew, the Santero. So there's a bit of work to do. General spacings. Onion sets are probably going to go 6 inch apart in the row. Rows about 8 inches apart. Shallots are going to be probably 4 inches apart in rows 8 inches apart, just so I can squeeze as much into a bed as I can really. My Santero are going to be the same as the onion sets, 6 by 8 inches. My brassicas, the cauliflower, the broccoli and the cabbage, they all have 15 inch square. That's all I can give them, so I can get like 8 rows of 4 in one bed. The spring greens, which the Durham Early, the other ones I'm going to probably do at home. I've not put the straws on yet, so I'll have to do that in situ. They'll be going a lot closer. They'll be going probably about 8 to 10 inches apart, because I only want them as greens, I don't want the hearts. So I kind of plant them a bit like I do with lettuce sometimes, like the Cos lettuce. Spring onions, probably plant them in bunches 4 inches apart, in rows maybe 8-10 inches apart. So I'll just record some parts of it, but while the sun's come out, a bit dull this morning. I've actually had to hoe all my beds because I stripped my brassicas out, and I just seen some leather jackets, so I thought I'm going to start hoeing, and I got loads out of it. I was just popping them, so I'm not going to put anything, I don't think, in that bed today. That's probably going to end up being peas and sweet corn. So I want to give it a bit of time for them to clear off a bit. A little bed over there, I'm not sure what's going there. I did have a plan, but I've thrown it out the window. I'm just kind of going with it. The brassicas are going to go in the far bed over there, which is by the shed, and then work from there. So I shall get on with that. Right, it's going to be the brassica bed for 2018. It has worked pretty much on the rotation. There's plenty of sunshine here. I had the peas in here last year, and also some dwarf French beans, so they'll only put a bit of nitrogen back in the soil, which always helps for greening the foliage up and that. Leather jackets, didn't see any in this bed when I was giving it a bit of a hoe. Just give it a bit of a hoe and raked it, so it's quite dry on top, but it's pretty wet down beneath. I imagine there will be some nuisances down there, but we'll just have to deal with that. So it's kind of working the spacings out. Like I said, they're about 15-inch square. So tape measure. You can kind of guess it really, but it's kind of how I tend to work it. I'll go like 15, 30, and 45. And then I'll kind of pretty much say there's one there, one there, one there, and one about here. So that's there, there, there. Edge that one over a bit. There. Probably do them in the same sort of order. Because obviously it's an arch net. If I had a square net, I'd put my higher crops at this end, but I can't. So I'll probably put my golden acre, which I usually do this side because it's a smaller crop. Then I do the broccoli, because that doesn't get quite as big as the cauliflower, which goes here. And then at the end here, I'll just have some little spring greens going down the back. And like I say, they'll suffer for a bit of light eventually. But I'll start harvesting them in probably about 4 or 5 weeks anyway. So that's the general spacings. It's pretty much like lob a piece of wood down or a string line, and go with that really. So I shall get on with that. Right, let's get my trowel. Remember to bring my kneeling mat today. I'll probably stop using it after a while. I always tend to forget. I'm just kind of working out the general spacings on these now. So it's handy. I had a bit of wood, I used to have a piece of wood set out and one all marked. I can't really use that, so I'll probably start off at 8 inches in. So I'll make sure I've got the right ones here. Yep, golden acre. So I'll put first one there, and then the roughly they're all yellow drinking straws, like I say, I colour code them. Should get 8. If I get more, that's a bonus. Well, I could squeeze another one in, or do I? No, I'm going to edge him along a little bit, I think. What have I got there? I mean, I've got a bit of gap at the end there. I could be greedy and put something else in, but I'll not bother. I'm just going to spread them out a little bit, so they might have an extra sort of inch or so each. Just made to bring that one down from this end really. So I've got 2 left there, so I know I've got 8 in here. It's pretty simply, I've got to bury them quite far down, so I've got the drinking straw which comes right up to here. So I've got my tag, I'll just shove the tag at the end there so I know what this first row is. I know anyway. And then I'm hoping when I do this I don't see any of the nuisance leather jackets, so plenty of root on it. It's quite dry, but just nestle that in. I know you need to firm these down, but I don't want to be forcing it down past the drinking straw if I can help it. I can always tread them in a bit more as the season goes on. So that's it, first brassica of the year in. Put that tag in there so I know what that is. Got a bit of a change of plan, which I'll explain as I go along. I've ended up doing another row of broccoli instead of cauliflower, because I'm going to put my cauliflower over in that bed, which is where I had the garlic, and I had some broccoli late last year from it. I can get 15 plants in there, so I thought, you know, I'll put them in there and see how they get on. Because I have a mole in there, he's probably been chewing away at some of the nasties under there, so we'll just see how they get on. Colly's probably my least favourite vegetable to eat, so it's hit and miss, but like I say, if I can get a good, you know, all 15 heads in that and freeze them down, I don't need to start thinking about overwintering brassicas then, so I can clear the plot, hopefully for next year, and eradicate this problem with the bugs a bit. So just doing these Durham earlies. I've got to do the drinking straw business sort of in situ. I mean, it takes a little bit longer, but it's better than losing them. I'm not saying, you know, I won't lose any, but it seems to work well for me so far. I'll space these out a little bit more. I'll give them about 10 inches apart. So I've just staggered the broccoli, so it gives these a little bit more light. You know, plus brassicas take up quite a lot of room, and I don't have a lot of room at home in the garden, so I can concentrate on things like lettuce and things like that in the back garden. Some of that I'm there often to pick at. You know, because sometimes I might not get up here for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm kind of hoping that things can fend for themselves. That's the plan anyway. Pretty much the same as I showed you in the other video. Drinking straw around it there. I've used the same colour as cauliflower because I've only got these blue straws with me. I thought I had a pack of them in the shed, but I haven't. I'll just keep planting this rope until I run out. At last the sunshine is out. It's been a long time coming and all. It's the latest I've planted stuff out this. But then again, I mean, I'm only 11 days later than last year. So I've caught up, considering having such a bad start to the year with things that happened and that with my mum. But I'll get there. So these broccoli, they'll be ready for harvesting. The main head's probably from mid-June, I should imagine. I know my brother-in-law, he's been sorting his raised beds out because he's going all no dig. I think he's a bit short on seedlings, so I've plenty of greens anyway. Like I say, it won't take long for Kane to get through these. I mean, he could quite easily consume one every 2 days. So it's something that if I can ease off on buying, makes it worthwhile growing them then. I try and aim to grow most of his food for at least 8 months of the year anyway. Same again, she's it back at hole to level it down. As these grow, I might sort of hill them up a little bit just to give them a bit more standing ability. It is quite open here. I mean, the fence takes off quite a bit. Right, so I've got any water in my watering can. Yep. Give these a good water here. So the soil's pretty damp down below anyway. I'm sure it won't be long before the rains return. There you go, full 10 litres of water for that row. Right, let's start constructing a net for this. Okay, I'm going to plant these cauliflowers out. As you can see, I've kind of made a grid just to roughly, the crosses are where my planting points are. There's 3 that way, 5 across here. They've got a little bit more room. They've got kind of like the 15 inches apart this way and 18 inches apart that way. So they've got a little bit more room, which will help them out a bit. It's exactly the same as planting the other ones really. There's nothing too particular about it. It's a bit more at risk I think here of damage. Doesn't get loads of light here until in the afternoon, but just kind of pick your spot, keeping an eye as I go down for each hole, see if I can see any nasties to be concerned about. So far in that one, I should imagine they'll be here. Just hoping the whatever keeps tunnelling in here will give up pretty soon. I'll just, each time I come, I'll have to lift the net and just tread it down in between. Variety here, the cauliflower is Clapton. Did it for the first time last year. So it's recommended by Nigel, Muddy Boots. I used to grow one called Avalanche, but I can't get the seeds anymore for that. They must have discontinued it, but that was a real good one, to be honest. In the bed I planted my other brassicas in. That's the last time I grew the Avalanche. And I got a £5 curd. Way back when I put some rock dust in that actually. And it was just mulched with plenty of leaves the previous winter. So whether the rock dust did it, I don't know, but they were all big collies that year. And they were great at twisting their own foliage to protect the curd. It's quite heavy here, the soil, so I don't think these will mind it too much. It's just because it's quite a wet bed, this, because it's in a little bit of a dip. Because these are no dig, you know, the compost that's in them is quite porous, so it has no problem sucking water up. Gets a good feed here as well, because the neighbour's manure heap is just there, and it tends to puddle across. So I should imagine some of that gets sucked up as well. It's a bit of a stretch. So this bed is 1.6 metres by 2 metres. There's a video on my channel about doing no dig beds. You see me actually make this bed. I mean, the broccoli grew pretty well in this bed late last year. You know, I know it's not ideal with crop rotations, but I don't follow a rotation fully. It just depends what you use most of, I suppose. What you've got room, because there's no way I could rotate my potato bed into any of these raised beds. It's kind of like if there's room for something, put something in. I don't suffer with club root or anything. So it's not a really old allotment site. It started in 2012 and I came on 2013. That was my first full growing season. I think. Years just fly by that fast. So there's going to be a big glut of cauliflower flower heads, and these should be ready to harvest probably end of July. So I should imagine I shall then put in dwarf French beans, maybe some, you know, late spring onions. See me through into the later months. Depends how the mildew is and the rust and that. Maybe even some late peas. So ideally I want to be beds prepped and off here for November really. It's no fun coming up here in the winter. Just can't seem to grow anything. I can in my raised beds I suppose, but I can grow stuff in the garden. You know, it doesn't do the ground any good keep coming up in the winter months. Just walking all over it, so try and get the prep work done. Get it all covered up. Catch up with some jobs. It's been really difficult this year to try and get caught up, and keeping on top of everything at the moment is just really difficult. You know, I've considered possibly at some point, you know, giving the allotment up. You know, I'll try and keep it going as long as I can. Not so much give it up, I might just step back a little bit for a year, just grow a few little bits and cover the rest up. I don't want to give it up and then find I've got time again, have to start from scratch. Yeah, I don't want to be investing too much time and money into this plot, because I think there's only about 12 of us left now on here. We're supposed to be clearing the grounds up, trying to get some new people on. I don't think they'll be too happy if they keep letting their livestock roam about. The goats and the horses. The horses, you know, kick through your fence and everything. It's a bit frustrating when you just want to grow a bit of veg. You know, and they can't maintain their fence. You know, they're not cheap. Pay about £1 a square yard on here. Doesn't sound a lot. When you've invested money and time and you go and lose everything. So, give them a water and that's all them in. And then another net needs to go up. Right, I'm going to plant out these onion sets. Got my trusty dibber and my bit of decking. Wait for a tractor to go past. Right, so yeah, going to do about 6 inch apart. I'll just add a bit on the end of this board, so they'll end up about 7-8 inches apart in each row. So I'm just going to plant as many as I can to the fullest row, and then I'm going to do the Santero next. I'm going to plant them all in the same way. Apart from the shallots are just going to be a bit close together in the row, but still be 8 inches each row. So let's dib some holes. Just going to come in about 3-4 inches from the edge there, and just, like I say, about 6 inches apart. It's not always been my best bed for onions, this one, to be honest, for some reason. I'm not sure why. Make sure they're deep enough. Plank out the way, and then simply well, plenty of roots that have been desperate to go out for ages. Pop it in, firm it in, just nestling them down, probably just to the top of the actual bulbs underneath, because this top's quite fluffy, so it'll all settle down a bit when it's been watered, just to help give them a bit more stability so they don't rock off. Variety stir on, I think the same as what I did last year. I wasn't going to do onion sets last year, but a friend gave me a load of sets, so I thought, well, instead of throwing them, yeah, they've not stored as well as the other ones, but they were still good eating. So what have we got in there? I'll leave that at that actually. I'll just edge them open a bit, because that way I'll get 4 rows in then. Just a case of having a bit of a guess, so you get a bit of space each side, and that'll do them then. I'll just gradually creep the spacings apart a little bit. Like so. So I'll get on with the rest of them. Right, I'm going to give these spring onions a bit of a soak. Variety of these is that Ishikura. I've done them a couple of times and they're alright, to be honest. Kind of prefer them to the usual white Lisbon. So I'll have to probably cover these over just to avoid anything nibbling at them for a few weeks till they get settled in. The Santero was a bit tricky. Some of them were coming out of the compost, out of the trays, so see how they go. They should be okay. It's only like when you do leeks, you just drop them in and fill them with water, but with them I'd sort of just bedded the roots in, and as long as I give them a good drink now, they should be okay. I'll carry on giving these a bit of water and I'll have to put a net over them. Right, that's it for today. Planted everything that I'm going to plant out. Not doing the spuds today because I'm knackered, it's been a long day. So I'll get myself home in a minute and get some tea. So I'll show you what's been done today anyway. We've got beetroots in, 2 rows of beetroot, Boltardi, 2 rows of Cure lettuce, a row of Mazure, and a row of mixed lettuce seeds, which are just sort of here. Just 50p pack of seeds. All the brassicas are in. Over there I've got the Golden Acre, which is this first row, 2 rows of Equils, which is the broccoli, and a row of the Durham Early spring greens at the back. And then this is the allium bed all planted up. So I've got the store on onion sets, Santero onions, and then I've got the Zebrun shallots, and I've got Ishikura spring greens, 3 rows of them. Spring onions I mean. So this bed's got nothing in it, and it's going to stay that way for a little while until peas and French climbing beans and sweet corn are ready, and courgettes probably. I don't know whether I'm going to do any Brussels sprouts here or at home, or if I'm going to do them at all. Cauliflower's all in over there, 15 of them, all covered up with nets. So they're all in there. So that's it really for today. You know, all the blueberries have been mulched up. I'm going to lug all this gear back to the van and get home. So it's been nice to not have any rain for a change. So I'll be down on Sunday to put these potatoes in. I don't think I'll video it because it's a bit boring viewing, you know, watching someone dig a trench and put potatoes in over and over again. I'll bring the camera with me in case there's anything to sort of report if there's been any damage to anything or anything out. So thanks for watching, take care, I'll see you next time, bye. Right, it's a Sunday, I'm on my phone, spuds are all in. I think there's 122 I think I've got in. I've got, I picked, I don't know whether you can hear me because it's a bit breezy, got a row of Nicola, because I picked them up for £1, they were reduced, so I sneaked a little row in there. Row of Sarp Almira, got a row of half Orla and some Cabaret, another row of Orla, a row of Maris Pears, a row of Charlottes, and a row of Dukey York at the end here. There's been no damage as such, a few little nibbles here and there in the lettuce, but they're up still. So it was pouring it down this morning, so I was down here in the rain, but the sun's come out at last. So that's it, they're all in. My back's killing me, so I'm going to go home now. Alright, see you now, bye.